Good morning. I hope everybody that listens is keeping well. I'm sitting here catching my breath. After lunch, I go for a walk and I will soon go back. It's very healthy to walk after eating. There's like a 50% chance that you will avoid, for instance, diabetes if you go for a walk immediately after eating. I was listening to the internet. This truther wasn't a very young truther. I mean, by his looks, he was like 50, a 50-year-old. And he was talking about the obvious, but his demeanor, his tone kind of suggested he was having this revelation for the first time. He was saying, oh, guys, the system is crooked. They're all in it. The elites manipulate everything and politics as well. And these guys, when they are in parliament, they attack each other. But outside, they're all having cocktail parties and, marrying each other. Yeah. Yeah, that's the system we have. And you know what? You owe your lifestyle to them. There's no free lunch in this world. There's only trade-offs. And this part of the world, Europe, has been enjoying the best part of the trade-off since the First World War. In fact, that's why they started the war with Russia. It was the epicenter. Someone decided to unalive the Khazars. The Khazars, by the way, they were all Germanic, and they were ruling over Russia. So when they eliminated the Khazars in Russia, the First World War started. Of course, before that, there were multiple wars, but people don't see it like that for the most part. They see it as one war. No, not exactly. Before that, 200 wars had already started. And then, oh, it's world war. Yeah, it's one war and it's worldwide. Okay. They say worldwide because the goal of this conflict was to capture global economy under one paradigm. The banksters, they wanted to capture it under one paradigm, the world economy. Second World War was pretty much the same. Someone declared war on Russia. The English decided to protect the Russian oligarchs, and conflict started again. Russia was the epicenter of both wars, and they wanted to be a third time with the conflict that is happening now. Why? Why do they do this? Why it's always Russia? Well, first, the elites, they hate Russia because Russia is rich in minerals and etc. And the rest of Europe is not. So there's this jealousy about Russia. And Russia has been managed by the European elites since forever. The French, the Germans have been always ruling it. It's already in recent times, after the collapse of the Berlin Wall, that collapse of the Soviet Union, that Russia kind of became independent, so to speak, from the other countries in Europe. So they've been standalone so far, with no intervention politically from the outside. But there's a thing that a lot of people don't know, is that before I go there, I have to say, yeah, it was in control of the elites of Europe until the First World War. Between the First World War and the collapse of the Berlin Wall, there was the Bolshevik Revolution, right? And they've been ruling over it. ruling over that country until the collapse of the Berlin Wall. Then there was a renaissance, and Russia actually became, independent from outside. And the outside, the other countries in Europe, which they are all part of Europe. Russia is Europe, right? They should be friends with Russia and kiss their ass, but they don't, because they want Russia to be the black goat, the black sheep, you know, the scapegoat. Whenever they want to start another conflict, they just start poking at Russia, right? Um, they should, kiss their asses. Russia's wanted to be a part of the UN, and they didn't let them. Russia gives them special prices on fuel and other resources, friendly prices, and the Europeans just take it. You know, it's not competitive prices, it's friendly prices, used to be, at least. With the conflict, that started in Ukraine, I suppose they stopped with the friendly prices. I mean, what's wrong with these elites? They are jealous of Russia, and they have this superiority complex. You see, they think they are superior to everybody else, and if you don't play their game, you are the bad guy immediately. This arrogance is going to cost a lot to the continent of Europe, because all the other emerging economies of the world have had enough. Because Europe has always seen Europe's problems as the world problems, but the whole world doesn't see Europe problems as their problems anymore. Now, like a narcissist in a toxic relationship, the oligarchs of Europe used to get their enabling from other countries in the world. They used to feed upon them, and they enabled them, right? But now they said, enough is enough. We're going to do this thing called the BRICS, and we are out of your system. What is the answer? War. Similar to the First World War, similar to the Second. When there's someone who wants to opt out of this vicious system, they start a war. They always use Russia as the scapegoat, but that's not the goal. No, the goal is world economy. It's not Russia. It's world economy. Anyway, this truther was, yeah, guys, everything is rigged. And I'm like, yeah, it's obvious, and you owe your lifestyle to that. I bet you won't do anything to change it. In fact, you will probably side with the oligarchs to fight to maintain your lifestyle. Yeah? Anyway, it seems that the new administration in the US is not interested in war. The previous administration was 100%. They are a war type of administration. In fact, the previous, Democrats, they've started multiple wars and rewarded themselves with Nobel prizes, with peace prizes. It's so hypocritical. These people, they are a war type of people. They are Europeans, after all. Europe has been the epicenter of most wars. Yeah, small and grand wars. It's always been around here because the elites, they are completely obsessed with resources and with demographics as well. They are obsessed with owning everything so that everybody can have less. See, they want everything for them. And for that, they will mobilize the NPCs, they will mobilize them into war so they can realize their dreams. Instead of cooperating with the world, understanding, that the world is changing, and there's lots and lots of new economies emerging. Instead of making friends with them and cooperating, no, they chose to become their adversary. Because when everything fails, they take you to war because they have this superiority complex. They think they can start another world war and be the top of the world once more. I don't think it's going. It's. I think it's going to be different this time. Yeah, it's going to be different. Oh yeah, it's going to be a lot different. Another thing, in a narcissistic, toxic environment, they need to feed on something. They need to be enabled, and they used to get their energy from the outside. But the outside is lifting the middle finger, and now they are turning inwards. That's why the economy of Europe is going down the toilet. Prices are getting higher and higher. That's their way of coming for your stuff. They need enabling. They used to get it from the outside. Now they are turning inwards. So this is only going to get bigger. And like I said, that truther, he was pointing to the elephant, but I think he will fight to keep that elephant instead of changing. So if the drums of war start ringing, he will be the first, to endorse it because he wants to maintain his lifestyle. He's not going to be willing to want to change. That's the difference. To change, to adapt, to cooperate. It's not like Darwin said, oh, it's the strong is the fittest or whatever. No, the pen is stronger than the sword. It's not the strongest who survive. No, it's the ones who are smarter, can cooperate, can create relationships. Um, they call it what's it, diplomacy. Europeans are not good at diplomacy at all. Again, they have this superiority complex. Anyway, it's not going to be pretty. It's not. Europe population is one child per couple. Who is going to fight in this hypothetical war? Who is going to be in the front lines if there's one child per couple? No wonder they are turning to the United States. They've had roughly 10 million new migrants, across the border. They could arm them up, right? Who knows? Maybe that's the goal with all of these migrations is to arm them and fight, you know. I don't know. But this is just me thinking, all right? My opinion, my perspective. I'm not trying to change your mind or convince you of anything. I'm just, I just don't share the same values as most people around here. And this place is a mixture of peoples, many, many invasions since the birth of this country, many, many invasions. And since even before the birth of this country, which is 1,000 years old, Spain and France didn't exist, and Italy didn't exist. It was a bunch of, kingdoms. Portugal already existed. It's going to celebrate 1,000 years soon. But anyway, it's a mixture of lots of peoples. And I look around and my values are a bit different from everybody else's. Yeah. But anyway, there's another thing that can come into the equation: the fact that 70% don't have a soul, 70% don't have an inner monologue, 70% are mouth breathers. To just go along with the flow. There's also that. There's this book someone mentioned, written by Julian Jones, Julian Jones, called The Origin of Consciousness. It's on my list to buy. It talks about the NPCs, how throughout history there's always been a percentage of population that just didn't had an inner monologue. Meaning, if you don't have a reflection, a dialogue, a reflection, a ping pong match, metaphorically speaking, if you don't have it, then you don't have a consciousness or the soul, quote unquote, with a small s. I don't know. It's weird. It's just weird. I think it has to do with, I don't know. Because when we drink alcohol, we are damaging the vessel and we kind of break the connection. We break consciousness, you know? That's why people actually go and use stimulants, drugs, and whatever, so they can disturb the connection between the spiritual and the physical, you know? They're in, they're in too much pain. And a thing that I'm absolutely sure is that the spiritual is often in conflict with the physical, you know? There's this spiritual battle inside each one of us. And allegorically speaking, in the Bible, they speak of Jesus and Satan, you know, talking in the desert, and that's that spiritual battle, you know, that the true self will always be in conflict with the false self, you know, but some people don't have that conflict within them, you know, they are an NPC. Nothing seems to disturb them. Oh, it's just life. They don't reflect anything. They don't think. They just follow the flow. They follow the leaders, and that's why religion exists. Religion kind of gives them a guideline for them to go, and it's almost like a book of law. And that's why laws exist, by the way, is so that people have a point of reference. A normal human being doesn't need laws or religions because it's inward. They have a compass that points them to what is acceptable and what isn't. But people who are NPCs, they don't have a compass. They need something exterior to tell them. That's where religion comes in, and laws and regulations, and that's why during the fakedemic, they were the first ones to accept the new normal. You see, they are always tell me what to say, tell me what to do, and I'll do it. They don't think, they don't reflect. There's no inner monologue, nothing, and laws, rules, and regulations is also to keep the psychopaths at bay because there's a growing number of psychopaths, and that's a way of keeping them, making them scared and hesitant. You know, because if there's no rules and regulations, psychopaths will turn everything into shit. You know, that's what they do. Anyway, all right. I think I'm gonna shut up now.